So, Russian figure skaters have officially been banned from participating in international figure skating competitions, but not for the reasons we all expected. Hey, this is Bruno Fay. Welcome back to our channel, and let's talk about the situation at hand.
So this Tuesday, the International Skating Union has announced, following the call from the International Olympic Committee, that the Russian figure skaters will be banned from all international competitions. Russians have already been banned from soccer, Formula 1, hockey, and a bunch of other sports, and now figure skating is following suit. As the Olympics have concluded only a couple weeks ago, Russians have been the talk of the town due to the doping scandal that ensued. We have made another video about that actually back then. You can check it out. We're gonna link it down in the description and try to pop it up here if you're watching on the phone. But basically, lead Russian skater who was destined for gold has failed her doping test prior to the Olympics, and the banned substance has been found in her system. Since this is not the first time that Russians have been involved in a doping situation, there have been a lot of talks around about whether or not Russian athletes will finally get banned for good from the international events. And now they have been, but for the reason that nobody could foresee.
So, while we were all discussing the Olympics, Russia has started a full-fledged war with Ukraine. And as a result, the ISU had taken the decision to exclude all Russian and Belarusian athletes and officials from international competitions. The ISU and the Olympic Committee have explained this decision with the concern over the safety of the other athletes and participants of the ISU events.
The ISU also said that this would apply to all international competitions under its control with immediate effect and until further notice. So, what now? The first upcoming event that it will obviously affect is the World Figure Skating Championships that is set to take place in March in Montpellier, France. And with the Russian skaters out, this reshapes the entire expectation of how this competition might go. The Russians were the strongest contenders for the medals in almost all the divisions. On top of that, the Japanese skater Yuzuru Hanyu has withdrawn due to injury. Nathan Chan stated that although enrolled, he is undecided whether he would go, and China hasn't enrolled any of its athletes at all in this World Championship. So, who's coming? The Chinese pair skaters have just won the gold medal at the Olympics and were expected to be at least the very strong contenders for gold at Worlds. Whether or not this decision by China is some sort of statement due to the current situation, or if they simply decided to give their athletes a break, is unclear at this moment. But one thing is for sure, it definitely is going to have an impact on how this competition goes.
So, coming back to Russia, there's another big change. Not only the Russian figure skaters have been banned, but the measures also affected key figure skating officials that also happen to be Russian. This includes Alexander Lakernik, who has been the top figure skating official since 2016.
These news have expectedly not been well received among the Russian figure skating officials and the athletes, who, up until the announcement, have stated that they had no plans to withdraw from the World Championship. Following the whole doping debacle at the Olympics, the Russians seem unfazed and have been cheerfully posting their top athlete Kamila training and getting ready to participate in Worlds. If you have watched our previous video about the doping situation, where I explained the mentality of the Russian athletes and how the sports are set up in the country, you will understand that Russians will never really accept this decision and will always be opposed to it. This goes against everything they compete for and everything they fight for in their sporting careers. It is fully understandable why they had no plans to step down from any international competitions, but unfortunately now it seems like they have no choice.
The Russian Olympic Committee's president, Stanislav Pozniakov, claims the decision has political bias, and he intends to keep defending interests and rights of Russian athletes.
The famous Russian skater and now coach Evgeny Plushenko has posted a really big text on his Instagram talking about the situation and being extremely outraged, saying the decision goes against everything the Olympic Committee and the athletics stand for, that athletics are separate from politics. But then in the same very post, he makes a statement, quote, "I believe our president," end quote. So if you watched our previous video on Kamila Valieva's situation, you will understand where this is coming from. On one hand, Russians are supporting the international belief that sports should not be part of politics, and fair enough. On the other hand, if you watch the video, you already know that in Russia, sports do not exist separately from politics. In Russian Federation, if you're doing sports, if you're an athlete, you're part of the national agenda. You're representing your country, you're serving your country, and there is no athlete that exists separately from the national interest. So if you haven't checked out that video yet, please make sure you do, because it's gonna help you better understand what is happening inside Russia, not only in sports, but in general with the current situation. Amazingly, there are also skaters who took a stand against their country's current course, which is super unusual for a country whose sports are so closely intertwined with their government. Maxim Trankov, who is a Russian pair skater who won 2 gold medals for his country in the 2014 Olympics and is now a coach, has made a statement on his Instagram claiming he's ashamed, scared, and hurt. His wife and his skating partner Tatiana Volozhar was born in Ukraine and her family is still there. She also made a post that is quite a bit longer than her husband's, explaining her fears for her family and for everything that's going on. So obviously the situation is quite extreme and it raises several questions. First of which, now that the Russians have been excluded and basically everybody has a bigger fish to fry, will we ever find out what happened with the doping situation? And will those results ever be published and shared with the public now? After those talks, basically the only thing each side has agreed on is everybody wanted to see those results in hopes that maybe it would help calm down the conflict. Now, I don't know if this is even gonna happen. What do you guys think?
So second and most importantly, is this decision fair to the athletes?
Assuming that every individual athlete has personally nothing to do with the current situation and with the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and some of them openly oppose it, easy to say no.
Their careers and their livelihoods literally depend on this and are now at stake.
On the other hand, knowing how closely sports are intertwined with politics and with national interests in Russia, and knowing that the sports, including the figure skating, or should I say especially the figure skating, are very majorly supported by the government, sponsored by the government, and represent the government, how would we think about this now? Let us know in the comments what your opinion is.
Also remember to like and subscribe, share it with your friends if you find it useful, and we'll see you in the next video.